I'm Rebecca Skiel, and this is going to be the first of a series of videos that I'm going to record on Facebook Live at various times. I want to do a series about our news stories. If you were following me in January and February, I was doing a series on radical loving. A month of radical loving, in fact, leading up to an event I did in February called A Day of Radical Loving. And at that time, I was wanting to bring forward what I felt like was an energy that was calling us all into a more expression of our loving in the world and what that would look like and how that would be. And if you're interested in those videos, you can find them on my YouTube channel, Rebecca Skiel. What I want to move into now, after the month of radical loving, is about how we really want to bring that radical loving out into the world and where those new stories inside of ourselves can come from. And so I'm moving into talking about Sacred Ambition, which is an event I do every August here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And what I've been doing, because I'm writing my book, Manifesting Your Sacred Ambition, is I'm interviewing graduates from the event that they've attended. Sometimes they've attended for multiple times, and talking to them about how are you bringing forward your sacred calling and living your sacred ambition in the world? Because I believe that this is how we are going to be living into our new stories for the next decade, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. There's quite a bit out there in our world right now about resisting. And yet, along with that, I want to say that we must also go toward what we want to create in the new story we want to live into. And I believe sacred ambitions are the way to do that. So I'm going to start today with a story. By the way, I've gotten permission from all these people to tell their stories. A story that really, let's say, brings forward some of the reasons why I started doing this event 4 years ago. And so I want to talk about Vincent's story. And I'm naming this particular live video, Taking Myself Seriously. So I met Vincent I'm putting on my glasses because I want to read a few things on that I wrote down here. I met Vincent over a year ago when he came to the live event I did in February on Play Big. And at that time, he was completely taken with the energy that was brought forward and the people that were involved in the Sacred Ambition Tribe. And so he signed up pretty soon for the event in August. And some very incredible shifts happened for him during those 3 days. And so I want to read a little bit about what he said, because I want you to hear his words, not just my words. So Vincent said, "I feel like my sacred ambition is being true to myself and expressing myself and allowing that to heal myself and others. I think that the seeds of that have been there all along, but I gave myself enough of my own credibility to actually do it. But I never gave myself enough of my own credibility to actually do it. My experience in the Sacred Ambition event was the first time I allowed myself to take myself seriously and start manifesting my calling in the world." That's really what I want to maybe spend some time talking about, because this is so typical of those of us who carry a sacred call in our heart and want to begin to bring it out into the world. We do not take it seriously. We do not take ourselves seriously, our gifts, our talents. We minimize it. We dismiss it. We just go, oh, well, no one's going to be interested in that. And what that does is it then keeps us from bringing it out, doesn't it? It keeps us in that place of smallness and hiding and never really truly living what is in our heart. And to me, if the new stories that we need to create in the world have to do with those of us to find the courage to begin to live those sacred callings and sacred ambitions in the world, and giving ourselves the time and space to be with ourselves in a way that confronts those limiting beliefs. Where did this come from? What am I really basing this in? That's one of the things that we do at the event, is we begin to examine these limiting beliefs, the ways we hold ourselves back, and champion ourselves to bring that out into the world. So Vincent goes on to say that his inner challenge when he was able to be with himself in that way was it was really tied into deserving. And this is, again, so typical. We do not feel like we deserve to bring that sacred call, that sacred ambition. There's something about an unworthiness there. There's something about, oh, well, who am I? And am I really worthy to bring this most precious calling out into the world? And so he went on to say, I discovered that for a long time there were certain things that I wanted to channel and bring into the world, but I didn't believe I deserved to be compensated for them. So Vincent bought into the myth that all of us buy into of, oh, well, I'll do this regular job for a while and I'll earn the money, and then when I retire, or then when I get to a certain place, then, I'll do what I really want to do. And that's a myth. Because what usually happens along the way is that spark, that inner voice, that inner calling somehow gets very silent and sometimes goes away altogether. And so what he discovered at the event is not only was he ready to bring his ideas out into the world, but he also had every right to be compensated for them. And compensated a lot of times has to do with money. It has to do with being paid for our gifts, our talents. If we have a coaching business or a massage business, or bringing that healing work out into the world. But it also can have to do with things that we want to invent, products that we want to bring forward, or just the way we want to show up in the world. And being compensated for that, really knowing that we deserve to do that, is an inner process of putting the value on who we are. And if we look out in the world for validation for that, we will not find it. Sacred callings and sacred ambitions are really not usually about looking out in the world and go, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to be compensated for this because look how many other people are doing this. A lot of times, the sacred calling inside is something that you don't see anybody doing. You don't see anyone doing it the way you want to do it. You don't see anyone bringing forth that business or that product or that invention out there. And so how do we put the value on it? We find our own value in who we are. And that is what brings the value to it. That's what brings knowing that value and that blessing and that sacredness of what we want to bring out into the world. So, Vincent was caught in this conundrum for many, many years, and at the Sacred Ambition event, this blew wide open. So what has he been doing since then? Well, that inner revelation that happened there has really created a whole lot of freedom to bring forward what this invention, this product that he wants to do in the world. And he's now in the process of creating the prototype and bringing it forward and finding the funding for it and the whole 9 yards. And the other thing that he said was crucial, and by the way, this story you can read in length on my blog, and I'll put the link somewhere around this video. Another thing he found that was crucial was not being pulled back by the past. And again, this is another one of those situations. This is another one of, let's say, the challenge that we must walk through when we bring forth a sacred calling, because not only do we not feel deserving, but there's lots of things that are attached to that, and it has to do with the past. So we clear a bunch of stuff from the past so we can be present in the presence of what we want to manifest. And then what we experience is that the future is calling us. The future is pulling us. So instead of being pulled by the past, we're actually walking into the future, because it is calling us forward. It is pulling us, if you will, forward. And that's the new story we begin to live into. Hi, Ariel. Hi, Marjorie. Welcome. I just noticed that you guys are watching. Sometimes I can't do two things at once when I'm doing this. So he's really living into his future right now. And as he says, I am allowing the future to pull me. And along with that is he knows that everything is going to unfold for him. The right people are going to come forward. The funding's going to come forward. The people that really want to support him in this new prototype that he's creating. And by the way, it's very exciting. And if you want to read about what he's doing, I invite you to go to my blog and read it on my blog. So I want to end by reading Vincent's Sacred Ambition statement, because that's one of the things that we do in the event, is that you come away with a statement about what it is that you will want to live into and where you want to live from. And it goes like this: to listen to my heart, quiet my mind, love my body, free my spirit, show forgiveness, seek divine guidance, and live out my dreams. So this is the first live video I'm doing, a series of stories, and my hope is that along the way you will hear the story that really is going to resonate for you, and know that this event coming up in August is for you. And this is your time. This is your time to start taking yourself seriously. Hi, Steve. So until next time, thanks for watching. And if you're watching this either live or in the recording, love for you to post your response to this, any sharings you might have, any additions you might have to this for yourself. So until next time, bye-bye.